Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I'm going to do a story time of how my BMT experience went. This is my truth. I am not here to bash anybody's rank, job, or anything. So if you're one of those people that like to be negative and talk, you can go. You can go. So I went back to BMT March 2nd, 2021, and I ended up graduating April 21st, 2021. So you have to think about it. 2021. COVID was a huge thing, y'all. Like, my BMT experience is definitely different from a lot of people that's going in now in 2023 because I went during COVID, so we had to have a mask everywhere you went. So as soon as you get to San Diego, Texas, you're in your mind thinking, oh, this is nothing. Like, they're probably not going to start yelling at us until we get to the squadron where we're going to live. No. The minute you step off that plane, you, where are you going? I'm talking to you. Put your phones away. Make sure you have your mask on. They're just yelling at you, just yelling. Like, you get off the plane, they're just yelling at you. And they're like, take out your orders now. Take out your paperwork. I need a CID. Make sure your mask is on. So they're just screaming at you. All boys on this side. All girls on this side. No boys and girls together. I'm talking to you. You look a hot mess. Like, they're just yelling. And it's at the airport. So I'm like, all right. It's that time. They line us up. They put us in like groups. And then they were like, all right, this is your last time you're going to use your phone. So make sure you call your family members. Let them know that you made it to San Antonio safely and that you're shutting your phone off. And they were like, you're probably not going to talk to them for the next like couple of weeks. So then people was like calling their loved ones. Some people was like crying. I'm like, damn, we just got here. There's white buses outside. So mind y'all, this is during COVID. So COVID, the 6 feet mandatory was a huge thing. Like, it was mandatory. And they were very strict about that. So even on the white buses that was picking us up from the airport, taking us to the military base where we had our basic training, nobody could sit together. Like, it was literally 6 feet apart. So all the rows, it was only one person in the seat. And when we got on the bus, even the bus driver was yelling at us. At the end, he was like, thank you for your service. Long story short, we get to the squadron and they basically put everybody in flights. So flights is basically the people you're going to be living with during your whole time in BMT. And they usually do it by like last names and like, I guess depending what city you're from. And being in flights, like, you're going to be in flights with people from all over the states. I have this big bag. We all have carry-on flags. Come to find out, our flight was on the 3rd floor, so we had to go up and down like 4 flights of stairs with our suitcases and luggages. And I remember my one friend, she was the first one done, and she was like one of the first people to get there. And MTI was like, what are you doing? You're just standing there relaxing. Help these people out. Like, what are you doing? He was like, oh my gosh, like she was out of breath because she was like, get it in, get it out. And then she did all that get it in, get it out just to come back downstairs and help everyone else get their luggage back upstairs. So it was just frustrating because we were like on that 3rd level. So the first night was actually like not as bad. We went upstairs and everybody's just looking at each other. We was all confused, like, hello. People was acting shy at first. The first night, you go into the dorm and then you just see the beds. Like, I'm gonna put a picture like right here. You just see like the dorms and you're like, all right. ATI was assigning us beds, so the way he did it was like every person, like the first person that came in got the first bed, second person, second bed. Like, it was no like assigned beds. It was just like first come, first serve. Everybody was just tired and exhausted from all the traveling we had to do. When the MTI left, I was like, all right, get in the showers. So we all get in the showers, and mind you guys, it's an open showers, so you're gonna see everybody naked. Like, people are gonna strip naked and you guys are all gonna shower together. And then when you do the showers, you have a time limit. So you have about 10 minutes to shower, be dressed before the MTI like comes back to check on you guys to make sure you guys are good. Because since we had male MTIs, they had a knock on the door and we had to let him know, like, all right, all the females are dressed and changed, because God forbid if you just open the door and boom, see a naked female. Ooh, somebody about to lose their job. Yeah, so male MTIs with an all female flight have to do that, and then it's the opposite for like a female MTI that has a male flight. So the next morning I hear dun, 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 dun. And if you're in the military, you know that song. That's the song to get up. Get up. That's our alarm clock. They play it on the announcement. So everybody's like, oh my gosh, like what's that? Like, so we all get up, we all have like our civilian clothes, so we all just like get ready, and then we just hear the MTI screaming at the door, like, open the door, I'm talking to you, wake up, wake up. I'm not gonna lie, we was all like scared. We was like, oh my gosh, like why is he yelling? Why is he was kicking on the door, he was yelling, he was screaming, open the door right now, trainee. So we're all scared. So then I just remember my one friend, she was on the whole other side of the dorm, and she just put on her like sneakers, and then she just ran and opened the door for him. And then he was sitting there yelling for 5 minutes for us to open the door, but we was all just in shock and scared, because it's like we was just all in shock. So then he comes in, he just basically yelled at us like, what is wrong with you? Like, what the piss? And they say what the piss because they can't curse. MTIs can't curse. So you'll definitely hear like, what the piss, trainee. The MTI basically like introduced us to him, and then he was like, this is how things work. You hear dun, 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 dun. You get up, make sure your PT gear is on, you make sure your water bottle is filled to the top, and then you go downstairs. And the minute you go downstairs, you just get ready for PT. Like, you have to PT, and we PT'd every day except Sunday. So you're gonna have like 2 days out of the week was gonna be like upper body. You're gonna have 1 day strength endurance, other day legs. And this is not like gym workouts. This is just like, all you need is yourself. That's all you need. That's all you need is your body. And make sure you're hydrated, because you just don't want to fall out. So he says, so after PT, then you will go straight to Chow. So you go to Chow, and Chow is basically eating. So you go to Chow 3 times a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then dinner Chow, it's like, all right, after dinner Chow, you go back to your dorm, you like calm down, you memorize the Air Force Creed and the Air Force song. So like, say it out loud so we all can remember it, because we had to do it at the end of graduation. It's the dorm chief. The dorm chief is literally the person that's basically represents your flight. That's the head of the flight. So if somebody in your flight get in trouble, they go to the dorm chief. Like, it's kind of like MTI's pet. I don't want to say that, but it's just like the dorm chief is just held accountable for everything. You're gonna have element leaders, so they basically lead the formation, and then they're just like other people to just help the dorm chief. So one day I was in Chow. So this is how I get messy. I was in Chow, and you guys see the way I talk, like I talk with my teeth, right? But mind you, we had masks on. So we're in Chow. I took my mask off, and I remember this was actually dinner Chow. So I remember during breakfast Chow, I was like eating, because you have a 10-minute period to, by the time you sit down, you eat for 10 minutes, and then you have to get back up, and they're just yelling and screaming at you the whole time. So I'm just eating really, really fast, right? Eating really fast. I ended up like cutting my tongue, so my tongue was just burning. And I just remember that day I was eating soup at dinner, like I just got something really quick. So I was eating soup, and then like I just went like this with the fork, like, because I was like trying to like my tongue was just like hurting, so I had to open my mouth wide. So the MTI came to me and was like, why are you smiling? I'm like, I'm not smiling, I'm just trying to eat. She's like, you're smiling, I see your teeth, you're smiling, I see your teeth. I'm like, no, this can't be. I'm getting yelled at, like, this can't be. So she's like, I know you're smiling, like I see your teeth. I'm like, no ma'am, I'm just trying to eat. So when you're in the military, you have to do a reporting statement. So before you acknowledge any MTI, you have to be like, sir, trainee, can you report test orders? So you're not an airman yet, you didn't graduate basic training, you're a trainee. So you have to do trainee, and then they have to acknowledge you to talk. So I'm like, ma'am, trainee, can you report? I'm just eating. And she was like, no, you're smiling. So then the whole snake pit. So the snake pit is literally like all MTIs just sitting there eating lunch, and they just stare you down, just yell at you and scream at you, making sure you don't stay down for the 10 minutes. So the whole snake pit came at me. They were just yelling at me, screaming at me. You think this is a joke? This is the military. Like, this is not fit for you. We're gonna get you kicked out. Da, da, da. They're just screaming at me, yelling at me, just everything. So then I'm like in shock. So while they're yelling at me, I'm like, still food in my mouth. And in my mind, I'm like, this can't be. Like, not me getting yelled at. Like, I never get in trouble. I just stay to myself. So they're just yelling at me, screaming at me. And like, I just remember being like frozen. And mind you, this is at the defect, so everybody's just staring at me, like everybody. So you know me, I held my own down. I ain't cried or anything during that moment. I was just like, yes ma'am, yes ma'am, yes ma'am. So the lady was just like still upset, because she was like, I still think you think this is a joke. And mind you, I only got 2 bites into my food, and they were like, your time is up. So they were like, get up and get out. They kicked me out the defect, so I didn't get to eat. So imagine how I felt. She asked us for who's my MTI. And this was actually on a Sunday because my MTIs aren't there on a Sunday. And mind you, this was week 1, so this was our first week without an MTI because week 0 the MTI is there. Because I was just like, tech sergeant, and then I said his name, and then she was like, he's not a tech, he's a staff. So I'm like, and then she started screaming at me again. She was like, you don't even know your MTI's rank. Like, who are you? What kind of trainee are you? Like, you're just a really bad trainee. I'm embarrassed that he has you as a trainee. Like, she's just yelling and screaming at me. So I'm just sitting there in silence. And then she was like, you broke eye contact with me? That's so disrespectful. Like, they're all just yelling at me. 4 MTIs screaming, yelling at me, just yelling at me. So I go back to my dorm. I go to my flight upstairs. And then somehow she got the number to our dorm. So she calls and she's like, I need Senior Airman Canoe to come down here with her dorm chief. So we go downstairs. It's just us alone, and then it's her and this one male MTI. And she's still yelling at me about the situation. And I'm just like, ma'am, like, mind you guys, at this time I had a mask on. So I'm standing at attention. Ma'am, training canoe reports as orders. I'm not smiling, like, this is just my face. And then she just kept saying, you are smiling, I see your cheekbones, why are your cheekbones so high? Like, I can see your cheekbones moving, like you think everything's a joke. And I'm just like, no, like, I have a big overbite, like, this is just how I talk. And she was like, every time, like, she was just like, there you go, the cheek is rising again, you're still laughing, I can see the smile through the mask. And I'm just like, no, it's not true. So then she was like, I don't think you get it. Sir, training canoe reports as orders. I do understand. I will not smile again. I will not move again. And she was like, you're apologizing. You're still smiling. You're apologizing. I can still see your cheekbones. You think this is a joke? I was like, no, ma'am. She was like, where was your purported statement? So she's just still screaming at me. She told me, drop down, do 50 push-ups for me. So mind you guys, this is the beginning of BMT. Like, I wasn't really in shape. So I'm trying to do push-ups. After like 10, like, my arms was like stinging, burning, and then she got down on a push-up position as I was doing the push-ups, and she just started screaming at me, yelling at me, like, you're not even fit to be in the military, you can't even do like 10 push-ups correctly, like, out of the 12 you just did, I only counted 3 that was a real push-up. So she was just like, get up. She was just like, I'm gonna make sure you get kicked out the Air Force. I'm gonna make sure I call you out every time you eat in a chow hall and I see your lips moving and or I see that you're smiling, because this is not a joke. And I'm like, ma'am, this is just my face, like, this is just me. I was like, how are you gonna tell me I'm smiling and I have a mask on? She was like, your cheekbones. And my gosh, she was a tech sergeant, so she was just getting very aggravated. So like I said before, there was another male MTI there. So the male MTI looked at her and said, calm down. And then he looked at me, he was like, the military is nothing to joke with, like, I hope you learn from the situation. I'm like, sir, training canoe reports has orders. Yes, I did learn. I'm not smiling. This is just my face. So I think it got to the point because she was yelling at me for 20 minutes. Like, he was just like, all right, I get it. Like, everybody's like different. We all like grew up different. He was just like, perception is everything, and that's how it looks to us. But he was just like, just be good. Like, don't bother anybody. And then he ended up leaving. So the lady just got real mad. So she was just like, go back upstairs. She was like, be downstairs in 30 minutes. So I go downstairs for the second time. She yells at me again, just like, you still think it's a joke? So I'm like, ma'am, training canoe reports as orders. No. And then she was like, drop down and do 50 push-ups for me. So my hands are already burning from 30 minutes ago of me doing a push-up. So I'm trying to do push-ups again. She's still screaming at my face, and then she's like, you still think this is a joke? She was like, I'm gonna call your family back home. She was like, where are you from? I said, New Jersey. She said, I'm going to call your family from New Jersey. I'm going to let them know you're not meant to be in the Air Force. You should not be in the Air Force. Like, I will find a way to get you kicked out. Like, I will find a way to get you kicked out. And I was like, ma'am, training canoe reports as orders. Like, I always wanted to be in the military. Like, I'm doing this for me. Like, please don't. I'm like, please don't get me kicked out. Like, I want to be here. Like, don't do this to me. Like, this is just my face. And then she was like, oh, you're still smiling. I'm like, no. So then she's like, get up from the push-up position. I'm standing at attention with my dorm chief, and she's still screaming at me. And then she looked at my dorm chief, and she told my dorm chief, this behavior is unacceptable. I hope there's no other female in your flight like this. Like, what do you have to say? And my dorm chief was just like, she acknowledges that she's wrong, and she know it won't happen again. And then the woman was like, how can you say that when she's doing it? She keeps doing it. This whole time I've been yelling at her, she's still smiling. And then I was like, ma'am, training can report test orders. This is literally just my face. And as well, I have a mask on. And then my door chief said the same thing, like she's accountable, like she took accountability for her actions, like basically leave her alone. So the MTI is like, all right, okay, you know. She was like, go back upstairs and come back down in 30 minutes. Yo, this is the third time. So I come back down in 30 minutes. She's making me do push-ups again. And she was like, oh, you still can't do the push-ups. So she was laughing at me and she was just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna keep working you out. And I'm like struggling. I'm crying at this point, y'all, because it's like, at that moment, I just felt like I was just proving to somebody that I didn't have to prove to, that I should be in the military. This woman keeps calling me downstairs. She keeps trying to smoke me. She keeps trying to make me do push-ups. So then I'm like crying at this point because my hands are burning. Like, I'm just in so much pain. And mind y'all, like, my hands are so like, well, they were like skinnier, but I'm like a skinny woman. I'm 5'2". So my hands were just burning, like burning. And I'm like, please, like, I'm sorry. And she was like, Dad just won't do it. So she's still yelling at me as I'm trying to do these push-ups. So then I just remember just going really, really fast. She was like, okay, you did about 40. I only counted about 8 of them. But it's okay. Go back upstairs and come back down. So when I go back upstairs for the 4th time, like my whole flight saw me. I just went in the bathroom and I just started crying. Like I just started breaking out crying because I'm like, I can't do this anymore. Like I'm in so much pain. Like I'm about to curse her out. I don't think I deserve this. Like this is really my face. She keep telling me I'm smiling. She keep saying, oh, I see your cheekbones. I see your cheekbones. And like in my mind it's like I have a mask. Like I shouldn't indicate that I'm smiling. Like a lot of people have like resting bitch face. I don't have that. Like I just have teeth. So I'm just like crying. So all the women in my dorm came up to me and they were just like calming me down. They were like, this is not right. Like this is not right. I'm like, yeah, I know this is not right because now I have to go down there for the 4th time. And mind you, she did this every 30 minutes. So I'm like crying. I'm in like pain. I'm like, I have to go back down again. So there's a rule. My one friend came, was like, you know, there's a rule that they can't smoke you after you eat. So then they were like, we had a protein bar to give you after dinner, Chow. So we're like, all right, eat this protein bar. So in my mind, I'm like, all right, like, I just ate this protein bar. Like in the regs, it said you can't smoke anybody until after 30 minutes after they ate. So I ate the protein bar and I went downstairs and she was like, drop down and give me 50 more push-ups. And I looked at her, I said, ma'am, training canoe reports his orders. I just ate a protein bar. And she started screaming, what, are you trying to play me? Are you trying to play me, trainee? You think I'm dumb? You think I'm dumb? She was like, still give me the push-ups. Still give me the push-ups. I was like, ma'am, training canoe reports his orders. I will not be doing the push-ups because according to my MTI, I was told I cannot be smoked or do anything physical 30 minutes after eating, in which I did just eat a protein bar. In my mind, I'm thinking I ate that. Me and my dorm chief went downstairs thinking like, all right, like this is gonna make her stop. No, it pissed her off so bad. She was just like, oh, you think this is a joke, huh? You think this is a joke? I was like, ma'am, training canoe reports as orders. No, I'm in so much pain. My arms are burning. Like you keep making me attempt to do these push-ups trying to punish me. And then you keep yelling saying I'm still smiling under the mask. So I'm still like, I start crying at this point because she's still yelling at me. She was like, oh, you think this is funny, right? She was like, hold on, give me 2 minutes. So we're standing at attention. She leaves, like she's nowhere to be found. So she literally comes back 4 minutes later. She was like, I have the regs right here. And then she read it. She was like, it states you are not allowed to make any trainee do anything physical after they eat. You have to wait at least 30 minutes, except for protein bar. So in my mind, I'm like, no. And my dorm chief looked at me and she was like, bitch, we failed you. Like, ah. She was like, now do me the push-ups since you want to be all big and bold. And I'm like crying at this point because I'm like, please just make it stop. And like my nose was all like stuffed up. And then in my mind, I'm just thinking about my family. I'm just thinking about my purpose here. I'm like, I'm not gonna risk it all. So now I'm upset. Now I'm pissed off. I'm like, ma'am, you cannot talk to me like that. You cannot keep making me do these push-ups like that. I'm not gonna do the push-ups. I'm not gonna do the push-ups. And then as I'm like getting up for attempting to do the push-ups, I realized in my head, like, it's not worth it, but she's not going to keep talking to me like this. Like, it's been over about 2 hours. So I go upstairs. Mind you, this is the 4th time. She called again. She said, I need to speak to the dorm chief. She was like, UNC and Airman can need to come back downstairs in 30 minutes. So this is the 5th time. So we go back downstairs, and then she was like, you need to do push-ups again. So I was just like, ma'am, training canoe reports as order. I would like to speak to the chaplain. Mind you guys, it's a Sunday, so the chaplain isn't there. She's like, you want to speak to the chaplain? You think you're that important to speak to the chaplain? She was like, I can call the chaplain right now, and he's not going to believe you. He's going to take my side because he will not allow anybody that smiles at everything be in this squadron. He will not take that lightly. He will not take that. You think that Air Force is a joke. He will not take that, and he will not take your side. So me, just not knowing anything, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, her and the chaplain definitely like know each other. And then she like pulled out her phone in front of us. And my daughter was like, I have his number right here. I can FaceTime him right now in front of you, and he can see you right now, and he's not going to take your side. So, like I said, do those push-ups again. And I was just like, no, I refuse. So I go back upstairs for the 5th time. And mind you, in my mind, I'm just thinking she's going to call again. She's going to call again. She didn't call again. So I'm like crying. I'm crying. And everybody in my flight was like, this is not right. This is not right. Like, she's basically abusing you. Like, you went downstairs 5 times. She just yelled at you to do push-ups, and she keeps screaming at you. And everybody knows my face. Everybody's like, you're so positive. Like, that's just how you are. Like, with or without the mask, you have like high cheekbones, like you're dark skin, like your teeth are very, very white. Like, it's just you. It doesn't indicate like you're smiling and stuff like that. And I came upstairs, and I just remember my flight was like, oh, since she made you do these amount of push-ups, we're gonna do push-ups for you. So they all, I'm about to cry. So they all got in push-up position, and then my friend was like, on a count of 3, like, we're gonna do 20 push-ups for canoe. So then they all went, I don't know why this is so emotional for me, because I never felt that like kind of love before. Like, I just met these people a week ago, and then they were just like, every time she makes you want to go do push-ups again, like, we're gonna do push-ups for you. So they were like, they did the push-ups for me, and I just remember I just broke down crying in front of everybody, and I was just like, wow, like, this really means a lot. So then my one friend, like, she was the oldest in the flight. She was a 30. So she was just like, this is really not right. Like, I don't support this at all. So she went downstairs and went and got those complaint papers, handed out to everybody in my flight, and we all reported her, wrote reports on her, because we're like, this is not right. And in my opinion, I felt like, all right, the first, like, you yelling at me, embarrassing me in a chow hall, all right, good for you. Like, you did your big one. I accepted it. But you calling me downstairs 5 times, just yelling at me to do push-ups after push-ups, and just still screaming at me, telling me you're going to get me kicked out the Air Force. She was like, I'm going to call your family back home and tell them you're not meant to be here. She was like, you know what? I don't even think I should call them, because you're probably going to see them in a couple of days when we send you home. She was just like, every day, even if they don't send you home, every day in the chow hall, I'm going to pick on you. Like, I'm going to pick on you. So she's like, it just got to the point where it just like escalate. And I don't know what I did to trigger that from her, because it just wouldn't stop. So then everybody got papers, they sent the complaints in. So the next day, my MTI comes, and he was like, I already heard about the situation, we're gonna talk. He was like, I'm not saying that you're right, I'm not saying she's right or wrong, but we're just gonna talk about it. So I let him know what happened. He was just like, as an MTI, like, I seen her point, but she overdid it. And he was like, I know you as a trainee, like, I see you like in the dorms and stuff like that. So he was like, I know, like, that's just how you are. Like, you talk with your cheekbones, like, you talk with your teeth, it looks like you're smiling, like, you have a soft voice. So he's just like, he was just like stuck in between, but he was like, I just feel like she overdid it. Like, she overdid it, especially her calling you down there 5 times to keep doing you, especially her calling you down there 5 times and keep having you doing push-ups and just screaming at you, just saying, oh, I'm gonna get her kicked out. And then the other thing that really broke me down was just like, the chaplain is supposed to be there for you for everything. And then just her telling me, oh, the chaplain's not going to have your side. I can call him right now. I have him on FaceTime. He's never going to take your side. And he's going to encourage me to make you do more push-ups again. So it's just like, it just really like messed with my brain, because I'm just like, I'm really here by myself. Like, I have nobody. Like, the one person they kept saying that is confidential and stuff like that I could go to, this lady's telling me he's not even going to help me. So I'm screwed, you know? So that's what happened. So the MTI came, he talked to my flight. He was just like, your flight, you guys are a really good flight. Like, I've never seen a flight like this that stood up for other trainee in front of like MTIs. And it actually became a huge situation because the commander of the squadron ended up coming in. These big people in the Air Force, I don't remember their ranks, but they ended up coming in like lieutenant, like I remember the master sergeant, like the chief of the squadron, came in, talked to us, and he was just like, what y'all did was right. He was just like, but they were still defending the MTI, which I'm not wrong for. I just feel like she overstepped it. So yeah, that's what happened. That's what happened. And then we had 2 MTIs. So the second MTI came was just like, I didn't even know the situation was this bad, but I can honestly say like this is a really good flight. The way y'all stood up for Canoe, like, you guys, this is what the military is about. You're gonna create bonds that you guys are gonna stick together no matter what. Like, even though you guys just met about a week and a half ago, like, you guys made sure to complain. You guys got papers, just wrote her up and reported her, all this for Canoe. Like, you guys got down, started doing push-ups for Canoe. And then I just started crying again because I'm just like, he's really right. Like, they didn't have to do that, like doing push-ups. But long story short, they made me write an apology to her. They said you had to write a 3-page apology to her. I said, what? But that's the military for you. They're like, you have to write a 3-page just explaining the situation and how you're going to improve yourself and just apologizing to her. And even in the letter, I didn't even apologize to her. I was like, perception is everything. That's how you took it. You don't know me and I don't know you. That's how I started it off. And they didn't say nothing to me. So, but yeah, that was basically my hazing situation, what happened to me. And let's talk about the females. Yeah, even though my fight was like one team, one fight, like the situation that happened with me, they held me down. I was really cool with everybody. I didn't have like any problems, but there was some beef in my flight because we'll go to bed by 8 o'clock. Because mind you, we had to be up and ready by 5:45 for BMT. So then people would start writing their letters at night, hiding in the bathrooms, partying and making noise. And it's like, Pookie, don't do that. You have other people trying to sleep. Like, y'all can do that and be quiet, but they was in there like throwing parties, laughing and giggling. So that's other conflict that happened. Other thing that happened when it came to details, this one girl, she was doing laundry. She was laundry crew. She was the chief of laundry crew. So out of all the details, there's always that one higher up in the group. So she was chief of the laundry room, and it was about like 6 people in laundry crew. But with her, she was very unfortunate because like 2 of the people got put in manhole, and then like the other person was like with her, and then she ended up getting like sent home. So it was just like her by herself, and then people are offering to help her because it's like our laundry's not getting clean. And mind you, this is BMT. Like, you can't just wake up, go to a store and buy stuff like that. You have 6 pair of laundries and you have to wash them and reuse them. So everybody's like, I only have 1 pair of underwear left. I'm not about to wear the same dirty drawers again. So we're looking at her like, what's going on? What's going on? She's like, I don't need help. It's gonna be done. It's gonna be done. I promise. I promise. So come to find out, we all had inspections the next day, and most of us failed because it's like, you need to fold your clothes a certain way. And then some people couldn't even fold their certain bras or underwear because they had none. So then our MCI was like, what's going on? Like, people are trying to help you do the laundry, you don't want to do it yourself. And then we was pissed off at her because it's like, bitch, you did your inspection, you had all your laundry. You're doing your laundry, but not everybody else's. And then when people try to help you, you complain that they're not doing it fast enough or not right. Like, Pookie, don't do that. So that's the other thing. You're just gonna have people that just feel like, oh, I'm the original. Like, you can't take this job away from me, even though they're doing it wrong and not washing everybody's clothes. So that's the other thing. Since it was during COVID, they gave us our phone once a week, and it was Sunday, and you had your phone for 10 minutes. You could call anybody for 10 minutes. And when they give you this little lecture, like, don't be on social media, don't take no pictures, da, 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 da. But knowing me, child, I called my family, hey y'all, I'm good, boom. I was trying to sneak to like scroll through social media because I'm like, what's the tea? Like, anybody pregnant? Like, somebody died, a celebrity died. But y'all, DMX died. They didn't even tell us. They just put up, they have like this paper thing they put up every day in the morning about like news, weather, celebrity news, sports news, and then they put up this thing one day which is like DMX is hospitalized. He's in the hospital. So everybody's like, oh my gosh, like I hope he's okay. Like we didn't even know what happened. And then like we all forgot about it. And I just remember like 2 weeks after I graduated BMT, I'm scrolling through Instagram, it's just like BMX memorial. I'm like, damn, this man died. They didn't even tell us in BMT. Like, what? You're gonna find your own friend group that you're gonna be comfortable with, because you're gonna meet people and be like, oh my gosh, like I wish I met you sooner. Like, where were you my whole life? Like, people like that. Like, I have people from BMT, even though it was about 3 years ago, that I still talk to this day. Most of them got married, had kids, and it's like we're really close. Like, there are people like I want to be a part of my wedding. Like, that's how close we are. Literally, like, that's the military. Like, it's like a one and done process. Like, all right, we did this training together. You're gonna have friends on Facebook, Instagram. You're gonna be friends on Facebook and Instagram, and literally that's it. Like, you're never gonna see them again. Because the military just moves people around and they have to take leave and stuff like that. And then like I said, like people start their own lives. They get married, have kids. People like get out the military. So